At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The following audio contains the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope these stories inspire you to continue your journey with or join OPTAVIA, but please note they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the U.S. or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may contain income or earning representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S., please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in Health, the OPTAVIA team.
All right, everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight for our inspiring stories of transformation. My name is Joanna Mitchell. I am an independent certified OPTAVIA health coach. It's a mouthful. That is my amazing husband and my crew of 6 kids. Well, I have 6 and a half, a little extra there. And I am so excited to spend this evening with you. A little bit about my background is I started my health journey 6 years ago, lost 35 pounds. But I gained clarity, I gained confidence, and I gained a fire to want to help other people realize that they could live in victory too. So I decided to start coaching, and coaching has completely 150% changed the legacy of my family and changed our life. Because of coaching, I was able to put my husband through medical school while homeschooling 6 kids. Because of coaching, I have gained more health mentally and emotionally because of our community than I could have ever imagined possible. Because of coaching, we are walking in abundance. We are moved from a state of surviving to thriving, and not thriving just for ourselves, but thriving so we can serve mankind. And I'm really excited to spend this evening with you tonight so you can hear stories of other people who have done the same thing. But before we do that, I want to spend a few minutes just kind of talking about current reality. Current reality is we're an obesogenic culture. Since 1975, obesity has tripled. Most of the population in world's populations, they live in countries where far more people are dying from being overweight than underweight. In our country alone, one of the major sources of conflict and stress in marriages and in relationships is over finances. 69% of workers are stressed over their finances. And in July of 2020, the rate of depression has increased by triple. The question, how are you doing, has become an absolute field mine. But enter OPTAVIA. I believe OPTAVIA is probably one of the most amazing companies on the planet. We are fully committed to offering people a tool to find optimal health. Our company was voted by Forbes the most trustworthy company. We are a publicly traded New York Stock Exchange company. We're a US based, and our co-founder, Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, is a New York's best-selling author. Our company flipping rocks. And what I love most about us is Dr. Anderson's vision. And that vision is to create lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And I believe that how we do that is through our 4 components. We offer 4 components towards health. The first one is having a health coach who's going to be your biggest fan and your biggest cheerleader. The second one is our habits of transformational system. It's through this system that you are going to get to rewrite your story, develop new habits, and get rid of any stinking thinking that's holding you back. It's through our community that you're going to find like-minded people who are going to spur you on to become your best self. And it's through our fuelings that you're going to be given very systematic, simple nutrition to help you reach your weight and health goals. We offer, though, a full trilogy. For us, optimal health comes in 3 areas: healthy mind, healthy body, healthy finances. Healthy mind is learning how to interact with your world as your best self. Healthy body is being at a healthy BMI, but even moving on to optimal health. Healthy finances, well, that's learning to prioritize your life and your loved ones around what matters most. And what I love is that we offer an opportunity for you to be able to create healthy finances through our gift of coaching. I cannot imagine where my life would be if it wasn't for coaching. When you make that decision to step into coaching, you are making the decision to reinforce your own health journey. I know that I am healthier today because I decided to coach. When you make that decision to coach, you are now paying it forward. You are giving other people the same gift that you were given. And I will tell you, we are the most fun people on the planet. We get paid well. And what is a better way to be paid than to get paid for serving mankind? Paid for helping other people become best versions of themselves, and to be paid in a way where you can leave a legacy behind you, where your money extends beyond your own lifestyle, your own life. So I'm going to actually introduce to you a friend of mine, a business partner. I've known April since college, and this girl is a flippin' rock star, and I'm excited for her to share a little bit of her story, her health journey, and why she decided to coach. April?
Oh my goodness, we are a fun group, and I'm so glad that I did get over myself and reach out to you, because my life has changed so much. So a little bit about me. In 2017, I had just had my 4th child a year before, and honestly, I felt really depleted. I had 4 boys in under 9 years, so I was pregnant or nursing forever, and I just felt like, man, I've been pouring myself out for everyone else. And this is what I felt like. I felt exposed. I was looking for ways to hide all the time. I was hiding behind my kids. I was hiding in photos. I was hiding when I would go into like my closet. I would think, what is the outfit that will make me look most invisible? And I think the saddest part about where I was, because I was in the obese category, I just want you to know where I was. There were some realities that were really rough for me. But I think the hardest part was that I really believed that my best days were behind me. And when I was watching this firecracker for 3 years, I was like totally Facebook stalking her, okay? And I just kept thinking, man, I have 4 kids. I thought that this is just the life of a person who has a lot of kids. And then I look at Joanna, and you saw her picture. Hello, she has so many children. And yet she was thriving. She was like nourished. She was vibrant. And I was like, man, that's not cool. Just in my unhealthy mind, for sure. I was like so jealous. And it took me 3 years to get over myself, to finally reach out and say, okay, I need help. But I'm so glad I did, because let me tell you, within 2 weeks, I got on that first phone call and I thought, there's just no way that this is going to do it. I had tried everything, and it just was not working. And I will tell you, in 2 weeks, I felt hopeful for the first time in a long time. And I guess I just felt like a new wind had come into my life and was shifting me in a different direction. And I just didn't know. I didn't know that it was the actual magic inside of me that was going to propel me forward. And I just needed a really good tool and a really good friend to say, here's the way, let's walk that way. And so after 2 weeks, guys, I was still in the obese category. And 2 weeks in, I thought, oh, I just can't leave all my friends behind who are sitting around the playground with me, pushing their babies on swings, and in the same place that I was. I can't leave them behind as my life is dramatically shifting. And then some other crazy things happened as I stepped into coaching. The talents that were laying dormant on the bottom of my soul, they started to shine out again. And I wasn't hiding. I was coming forth in who I was created to be. And I was no longer living a double life. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but I was like hiding with the Oreos in the pantry when my kids were sleeping because I didn't want to share them. And then I was going out into the public, and it's really hard to be a congruent person when you're doing that. Just so you know, in case you haven't tried it, it's really difficult. But what was happening was I was doing the same thing behind closed doors that I was doing in public. And so all these talents that had kind of been buried by dirty diapers, because let's be real, they started shining out again. And I wasn't looking for the darkest clothes to hide in. I wasn't looking for a way to hide behind all my kids. I mean, those poor children, thank God that this came into my life, because can you imagine what their lives would be like? They would need a lot of therapy of 18 years of that. Anyway, the last thing that I think was so like life-changing is that for the first time in a while, probably a decade, I felt like I could be the woman of wisdom that could laugh at the days to come. And I just want that for other people. And so I had to share what was going on in my personal life as a coach with my friends who would eventually trust me to become clients. And I'll tell you, I did this and I still had 50 plus pounds to lose. And you know what? I look at that now and I think, whoa, I must have really felt good, because what woman in her right mind would do that, right? But what I'm so grateful for and what I've learned on this journey as a business coach of other coaches now, there's something so unique and special when you let people in a vulnerable place. They want to come with us. They don't want us to arrive and turn around and say, hey, come on in. They want to walk the steps with us. And I didn't realize that at the time. And I'm so glad I didn't get in my own way and wait, because there would have been so many people that would have been left out. There are 3 things that have just radically shifted my life because of coaching specifically. I am surrounded by a healthy community of contenders. Look at this girl. I mean, and you're going to hear from a few more that I get to be around all the time. And I'm so excited. It is hard to stay stuck when you're around people that are leveling up all around you. Okay. So I just want you to know that. And there is no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind. Had I not stepped into coaching, I would be back at the buffet table. I would be back in the Oreo pantry. But it makes it really difficult when your surroundings start changing and you realize, wow, they're really contending for more. And then you start believing and you start borrowing the belief that maybe I could too. The second thing that, honestly, this is the thing that hit me like a Mack truck, a healthy mind. I did not realize how much I was numbing out with food, and I was controlling my life using a substance that is socially acceptable in our culture. And so what happened as I took that away, I started realizing how much I love to consume things to control. And you know what? After about 2.5 years or 3 years of trying to figure out a way to buy more clothes, that because your body changes, holla. But you know, like after a while, you just can't keep shoving the clothes in the closet, and then you can't go back to the Oreos because you're coaching people. So I really had nowhere else to turn, but I had to get wise guides in my life that were helping me seek growth and find a new way of being. And I would have never, ever seen that. Honestly, it took 2 full years of me contending for health in a new way. And I was contending on year 2, not because of my weight anymore, which is what drew me. I was contending because I was bringing people along with me. And I realized, gosh, there has to be more. There has to be more, a new way of being. And so I got with wise guides. I got counseling. What? I've been counseling. What? And I got my beautiful mentors and all the wonderful coaching community. I mean, these people are fighting for the healthy mind, and they seek growth because it is the way. It's the way. And then the last thing that I think was just such a bonus, and I just didn't know it was going to happen, right? I thought when I had my 4 sons, okay, my contribution on earth is through these 4 children. These poor children, pray for them. So like I really did funnel so much of my effort and energy into them. And I think that is so good, because really our children are what our gift to the world, right? Like the next generation. But what I was neglecting was that while I was pouring into them, I could be pouring into others and use the next 40, 50 years of my life to really breed a legacy in others and breathe life into them. And I love this so much because coaching gave that to me. I came from a teaching background. I was a special ed and then a social worker. And let me tell you, the fact that I can give a tool to someone and then implement it into their own life and dig their way out of whatever it is they want their life to be about. Now that is a job that I never knew I always wanted. And like, it's so cool. It was what I was looking for in social work. It was what I was looking for in special ed. And I didn't know that what I was doing in those roles are great. And I loved every minute of that. But what I love about this is I'm empowering others to create the life they want. And I just didn't have that tool in my hand to give to other people. And so now I'm not only leaving a legacy in my 4 beautiful sons, which I pray will just rock the world, hello, but I'm also doing it in other people's families. And then they're going to be the legacy leavers in other family lines. and it's going to just spread out exponentially. And so I just want to leave you with a question. Are you loving the life that you are building? If not, you're in a great place. You're in the right spot. I encourage you to just reach back out to the person who invited you to this call and just explore what it could look like. Because I'm forever grateful, Joanna. I'm so grateful you shared this with me, because it truly has shifted my life to be a legacy leaver when I thought that that was done. So thanks.
Girl, I love you. I'm so stinking proud of you. You're amazing. So as you move into being an OPTAVIA coach, what's so great is we have a progressive model. You get to go from being a coach of clients, a business coach, and then a coach of a business leader. And what's so fun is we get to work with all these amazing people. And this next person I want to introduce to you is Stephanie White. And Steph, I'm going to let you come off mute because I want people to hear a little bit of your story and how coaching has changed your life.
Hey guys, hi Joanne, thank you. Like Joanna said, I'm Stephanie White, guys, and I have been I've been coaching for about a year now, and I want to go over 3 different main areas that have majorly impacted my life in the last year due to coaching. So accountability to my own health, the ability to serve others with purpose, and having more time freedom. Those 3 main things. So about a year and a half ago, I just had my 3rd kiddo, and y'all, so many people have said it tonight, but I was so tired. I was beyond tired. I was lethargic. I had brain fog like I never knew possible. I had baby weight that I needed to lose and could not shake. And I think just because of how crummy I felt, I was so unable to be present in the daily with my people. And joy was lacking 100% because of that. And so I had a friend and she introduced me to OPTAVIA, and I just jumped in with her. Over the next few months, the weight came off and my brain fog resolved. And I just remember feeling hopeful for the first time. And like I could go forward. I remember loving how convenient the program was. I remember loving the support in the community. I remember still leaning into my coach and having those resources. I remember thinking they have a built-in community for me that I don't have to create. I can just hop in, and I knew how important that was for lifelong change. And I was just so ecstatic that that was just available to me. And I remember thinking at the time, like, people need this. If this worked for me, it could work for anybody, And at that time, my coach asked me, I think once again, she came to me and said, Steph, are you sure you don't want to coach? Because you could be a great coach, And if I'm being really, truly honest, it just made me uncomfortable. Coaching was a new thing to me. I just didn't know what I didn't know. I felt ill-equipped to be a coach, to help someone in their health journey, because here I was, I'd eaten brownies every day for like a decade for lunch, right? Like, I was so new in my own health journey. Like, how could I extend that to somebody else? But y'all, she just spoke life to me. My coach just spoke life to me. She told me she believed in me. She told me that I could be a coach, that I'd be a great coach. And she told me, she said, Steph, you can help people that no one else can help. You are going to reach people that I can't reach. And at that point, I realized, first of all, what did I have to lose? Number one. But also, it was starting to come into my mind, maybe this is about my own health journey, but what if it's also about other people too? Like, seeing outside of myself for the first time in that realm. So it was really cool. So I dove in and I trusted her, and I said yes to coaching. And it was such an awesome decision. So at that time, I was working pretty much every day of the week as a nurse anesthetist or a CRNA in the OR. And I went into that profession like most people, the reason why most people go into healthcare. I wanted to serve people. I wanted to support people. I wanted to leave an impact on people in a positive way in their health. And I get to do that as a nurse anesthetist in the OR to a degree, right? I'm meeting them on the tertiary side of care. I get to meet them and be with them before they go back and during and after their surgeries. before, on their way back for their bariatric surgery, on their way back for their knee replacements, right? But what I was missing and what was so cool in the last year to see just like bubble up inside me is like the coaching side of it, and what's being just fostered in that is that I get to help people in preventative care ways. Like I get to teach people tools and give people community for lifelong transformation so that they don't have to necessarily get to that point, right? Like so that they could stop and change the course of their life. They could pivot out of bad habits and then not have to go down those roads. And so that has been just like such an awesome just benefit, and just, I don't know, just something that I was blindsided by, to be honest, guys. I didn't realize how full I would feel just by serving others in a preventative health way. I mean, just, it's been dramatic. It's been so fun. You know, now I get to walk with people, not just for that little bit before surgery, during surgery, after surgery. Now I get to be with people for weeks, months, years. Like I've had clients that have been with me for years, and we're walking together and we're contending for health together, and seeing them thrive, there's nothing like it. It's so fulfilling. It's so amazing. And then y'all, time freedom. So now I'm not in the OR every single day. I get to work less because of the compensation and coaching other people. And that's been so cool. That's been so cool for my family. And, you know, I had a friend once who asked me, she said, Steph, how do you spell love? And she spelled it out Time. And I just like, that always stuck with me and was so convicting, because I thought, like, where am I spending my time? Like what am I spending my time and my love on? And this is just another way that I'm able to be more present with not only my clients, but my family. And I get to be that fun mom that goes and takes my kids out to lunch on a Tuesday. I get to go on day dates with my husband because we just have more time. So it's been really, really awesome. So prior to coaching, I will tell you that I was not active in my health. I would not say I was active in my health. I would tell you that I was a little unfulfilled on the daily and didn't truly understand it or fully recognize it. And I definitely was busy. And after coaching, now making that decision, you guys, I will tell you that I am active in my health on the daily. And I have an awesome community that supports me with that. I am fulfilled with helping people and serving other people. And I have more time. I have more time to do the things that I love to do. And I'm just so thankful. So if y'all are hearing this and you feel like maybe, you know, it's uncomfortable to think about coaching, or it puts you out of your comfort zone, I would just lean into that. And maybe your coach is speaking life to you, just like she spoke to me. And they see something in you that maybe you don't even see in yourself, like with me. So thank you guys for your time.
Thank you so much. We're going to finish out. Man, that was great, Steph, with Erin. Erin, girl, come on off mute and share your story.
Hello. Joanna, thank you so much for inviting me to be here tonight. It's truly an honor. I love all of these people so much. It's been so fun to hear everyone's stories. My health journey began back in 2017 when my health coach, April, who we just had the pleasure of hearing from, began her journey. I was watching her get healthy and I was really inspired. And I was dying to know what she was doing because I was one of those friends pushing my baby on the swing. And I was like, what, April, what are you doing? You need to not leave me behind, friend. At the time, I was in my early 30s and I had 2 young kids. My youngest at the time was 1.5 years old, and I was trying desperately to outrun my fork, but it was not working. And I was ready to settle. I was frustrated with being where I was at, but I didn't know what else to do. And so I was beginning to believe the lie that I was going to be stuck 25, 30 pounds overweight. And I did not like that story for my life. So I borrowed hope and confidence from April, and my husband and I both jumped on program in 2017. But the best part was that the tools and the community and the structure of the program taught us how to fuel our bodies properly. And we gained the skills to not only maintain a healthy weight, but really to take it to the next level and live in optimal health, which is what we're contending for now. So after shedding the weight, people began to notice, as they do, and they were asking what I was doing. And so I loved referring my friends to April as a show of gratitude to her, because I knew she was an amazing coach and I knew she would take great care of my people. Um, and some of my friends did come on board and were coached by April, but many of them didn't even get on a phone call with her because they didn't have a relationship with her. They had a relationship with me. So she did invite me to coach her or to join her as a coach. But at the time, I was beginning to grow another small business with another company. And I really wanted to fully vet that out because I do believe so much in the network marketing business model when it's done well. So since then, we have had a third baby. It was my healthiest pregnancy yet. And I used the nursing moms program. And then COVID happened. And my husband and I both began to slip a little bit in our habits, and we put some weight back on. The good news was that we knew exactly what to do to get back on track. And around that time, several friends were reaching out to me and asking, hey, what was that program you did a few years ago? Apparently, they were having the same problem I was having. So I decided this time I would invite some friends to come along with me, and maybe it would help offset the cost of my own program. And if the coaching thing turned out to be fun and profitable, then maybe I'd pursue it a little more. You see, that business that I had been working so hard on, unfortunately, it was not paying off. Most months I was investing more than I was earning to grow, and other months I barely made enough to cover a car payment. My husband is also an entrepreneur. He created a product-based outdoor business out of absolutely nothing, which has been very successful. I'm so stinking proud of him, but it's not without risk, and it was really expensive to get it up and running. So in the beginning of 2020, we found ourselves with a mountain of debt, from starting the business to graduate school loans to car payments, 3 C-sections, and death by 1,000 paper cuts in credit card debt. We felt overwhelmed by it. We were not super hopeful about our future, but we were convicted to seriously begin tackling the debt. And I know I'm not alone in that. So much of America struggles with debt. So we made a debt snowball spreadsheet that was about a mile long, and it looked like it was going to take a few years of being very tight on our budget before we could stop paying for our past and begin investing in today and in the future. So my husband and I had begun discussing a full-time job outside of the home for me, which was like the death of a dream, to be honest. I wanted so badly to have time freedom and flexibility to be with our little kids during these young formative years. But I was absolutely willing to do whatever was needed to move the needle forward in our finances. I love the quote that says, pain pushes until vision pulls. And that's where we were at the beginning of this year. Pain was pushing us to make a change. So my plan was to begin putting my resume out there when quarantine lifted. And in the meantime, I started working with on my health again, and I began coaching a few friends. And I leaned into April as my business mentor, and I followed the path that she laid out for me. And really, I just took it one step at a time. I never would have expected this, but it blew up in the best possible way. And I really thought, like, what else do I have to lose? I'm just going to go all in. And I found that I really love coaching. I love walking alongside people that I care about to help them see that it's possible to be healthy. I've been coaching for 6 months now, and I've already eclipsed that full-time income that my husband and I discussed would be ideal earlier this year. That dream of time freedom and flexibility has become a reality. And that mountain of debt, yeah, we're on track to be completely out of it and then some by the end of the year. It's truly a miracle. I never could have guessed that this would be our story this year. Not only has partnering with OPTAVIA led us to physical, emotional, and mental health, but it has also led to financial health, which I just wasn't expecting that. And it's while doing good work alongside people that I love. So pain really pushed us to take drastic measures. And now vision is pulling us, and we are truly dreaming about our future again. And it's so exciting. It's honestly a dream come true, and I could not be more grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, Joanna.
Girl, man, that is so inspiring. And I think the question I have for you is, or everyone here, is why not you? What our coaching community offers is bar none, and how it works is simple. We are relationship focused. You are self-employed and independent. You can do this full-time or part-time. The startup is ridiculously low. You just heard Erin say, we were in mountains of debt to start up our company. We have flexible business hours. There are no quotas or monthly minimums, and we offer massive training and support. It's comprehensive, and you get to learn as you earn. You're going to work with a business coach and a mentorship team. You're going to work at your own pace, and you're going to have more than plenty of opportunities for training and events. So the question I ask is, why not you? What is it that you are seeing behind your eyes that you so desperately want to create, but you never thought possible? Could this be the answer? We would absolutely be honored for you to make that next step and decide to join our team, join our mission in creating health and well-being in America and in the world. We love you guys, and thank you so much for being here tonight. Bye.
At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The prior audio contained the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope those stories inspire you to continue your journey with or to consider joining OPTAVIA. But please note that they have not been verified, and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the U.S. or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may have contained income or earning representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S., please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.